Hey guys, Riley Ringgold here with Team Ringgold over at Keller Williams, and I was cruising the MLS today and stumbled across this property. Thought I'd go ahead and do a quick property analysis on it as far as looking at it for a rental property, and I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. So I'm going to pull the property up here. We'll kind of take a look at the property, talk about the purchase price, square footage, and then we'll look at maybe what it can rent for, and then I'm going to jump into my Excel spreadsheet and we'll take a look at some of the numbers a little bit deeper. So let's jump in here. So I've got it pulled up here on searchtopekahomes.com. This is Team Ringgold's search page. It's 2508 Southwest Shunga Drive. It is listed with Better Homes and Garden Realty. So so that I don't get fined, I have to say that. So here we've got Shunga Drive. It's a little 2-bedroom, 668 square foot. I don't know if it's currently rented. The MLS didn't say anything about that, so it could be owner occupied at this time. And I think as an owner occupied house, this is not a bad house at all. But I want to look at it as a rental because it's been on the market for 90 plus days. So anytime anything's been on the market over 60 days, that means, you know, it's missing the market somehow. Nobody's making offers on it. It's not getting sold, so I want to look at why. And on surface level, I can't really see any reasons why this wouldn't be sold today, unless for some reason they haven't had good access for showings because it is rented, or it could be that it's just a little bit overpriced. So the cabinets are in great shape, countertops are in great shape as a rental. You can see down here in the corner of this door, it looks like it will need some touch-ups on the trim and probably a little bit of paint. But overall, it's got a good paint scheme. The floors look like they're in decent condition. Nice Goodman furnace, looks a little bit newer, especially newer than the house is. The windows all look vinyl. The bedrooms look to be decent sized. These hardwood floors could be refinished. You know, we take a closer look in person to see if they could be refinished, if they're good enough to go ahead and rent out like they are, or if we just want to lay LVP over them. But right now, just looking at them, they look a little bit beat up, but it might be passable. Exterior wise, it looks like it's got a 30-year architectural style roof. No idea how old that is, but that's a good sign to see. The gutters and downspouts are in great shape. Looks like we've got a little bit of settling here on the front step, which isn't a huge deal. We can get a mud jacker out there to just jack that up so that that's not a tripping hazard. Let's see what else we have on the outside. This I thought maybe was a garage, but there's no alley back here. This is just a shed, so it's nice to have an additional storage unit. The air conditioning unit looks to be in decent shape. Looks like the AC and the furnace were both swapped out at the same time. The shower and the surround, this is an older tub. I'm assuming it's cast iron. It may have some chips in it. That might have to be replaced if it does have chips in it. You can also get them re-enameled, which is a little bit cheaper than swapping out the tub. But this surround, we would definitely put a different surround in it. We don't like these multiple piece backs. We like to do something that's, you know, a full 3-piece that only has a couple seams in it so that we don't have any water damage. Not sure what's going on up here with this trim. I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, there was a window there at one point and they left the trim for some reason. Doesn't make any sense. And then I definitely would want to do, whenever we swap out the shower surround, we would want to get rid of this trim on the outside of the shower. That's just not something we do. We mold all of ours into the sheetrock just to make it look a little bit nicer. So overall, it doesn't look like it's going to be a very big rehab project, right? Could probably just move somebody in. But we like to go through the properties, make them a little bit nicer. You can see these paint lines aren't super great. Make them a little bit nicer, make it so somebody will absolutely love the home. You can see down here in this corner, you've got to have a real good eye. I don't think I can zoom in. Let me see. I can't zoom in on that. But once you start looking at properties, you'll notice stuff like this. The trim has been worn down, and I can't tell on here if somebody's tried to recreate that trim with caulking or if it's just sanded down trim or kind of what's going on. So it's going to need trim there. So it will need a little bit of work. Again, like I said, 2-bed, 1-bath. The sale price on this is $92,700. That's what they've got it listed for at the moment. That's $139 a square foot because it's 668 square foot. It was built in 1948. And this area is a pretty good area for rentals. I was looking at some other recent solds over here, and things with a little bit more square footage were selling for 124. There was one similar to this in worse condition that sold for 85,000. So they may not be totally off the mark on the price. We're gonna have to jump into the numbers and see what works for us as an investor. So let's do that now. Let's jump into my Excel spreadsheet. So this is what I use whenever we're analyzing properties for rentals, and it gives me all the numbers that I need to know, to see if something's going to make a good investment or not. So up here at the top, I've got the sales price of $92,700, and then here we've got the number of beds, baths. If we had a multi-unit property, we could also use this spreadsheet, but this is just one. So the rent per month right here, I've got set at $800. This is just kind of a bare bones price point. If we were going to, rent this thing out as is, and we could get $800 for it, is it going to make a good investment? That gives me kind of a starting point. And then market rent is what I pull whenever I go and I search kind of the median and average rents in the area. This is rentometer.com. You've got to pay for a subscription to this, but the 75th percentile of these homes are renting for $941. I tend to get close to that 75, 80 percentile, so I'm going to estimate $950 on this one. I think that's going to be easy to do. A lot of these 2-bedroom, 1-baths are getting $1,000 or even $1,100 if they have a garage. So I think $950 is pretty good if we can get this thing touched up and make it look like a really nice home. So then down here we've got all the expenses that we're going to incur owning this as a rental, and we've got property insurance and taxes, about $1,450 a year. Insurance, I'm going to estimate about $120 a month. And then I manage my own property, so I'm not allocating any kind of savings for management. And then we got vacancy and maintenance. I set both of these at 10% because 20%, if we can make it work at 20%, it's going to be a pretty good deal. If you end up having no vacancy and you don't have 10% maintenance, then you're going to have some money in the bank at the end of the year. The down payment on this, we're going to get a conventional 20% down loan. I'm going to assume that we can get a 7.5% rate over 30-year term. Closing costs on something like this, you're probably looking around $4,000 to $5,000. We're going to estimate a little bit higher at $5,000. So these first boxes up here, this is all the numbers based off an $800 a month rent. So you can see gross rent's $800. This is monthly net operating income. So we're going to take the income minus all the expenses that we had over here in this box. So we've got property taxes, we've got insurance, we've got the vacancy reserves and the maintenance reserves. We're going to make the tenant charge or pay for their own utilities, so we don't have to worry about that. So the total operating expenses are $400.71. That brings our net operating income to $399.29 because we're getting $800 rent. And the annualized NOI, net operating income, is $4,791. That's a cap rate of 5.17%. On a commercial property, we don't really pay attention to this cap rate, but it is in my sheet, so I do have it there. And then we've got the mortgage calculator. So this is going to take your sales price and your loan to value ratio. So you've got 80% loan on this. Your down payment's $18,540, and your closing costs are $5,000. The principal balance on this loan is going to be $74,160, and our interest rate and our terms is right there at 7.5 and 30. That brings our monthly mortgage payment to $519. So once we add up the monthly mortgage payment and the total operating expense, and we subtract that out from our current rent, that makes this a loss of $119 a month, which is $1,400 over the year, which is a negative 6% ROI. So we know at $92,700, if we were renting this for $800 a month, it's not a good investment. We've got a loss of money here. So at $950, this is what those numbers look like. Our NOI is slightly higher because we've got $150 more in rent, and that gives us $519.29 monthly NOI, 6% cap rate. And then our mortgage payment on this would be the same thing because we're not changing the purchase price yet. We're just increasing the rent. So monthly income on this property, cash flow, is going to be 75 cents. I don't know about you, but it's probably not worth the work at 75 cents because that's only a 0.04% ROI, not something we're going to look at. What we've got down here is the down payment closing costs. So this is going to calculate the total money out of pocket. I've got the $10,000 in there for rehab. Like I said, it might be less than that, but I just wanted to put a good number in there. So we're going to be out of pocket about $33,000. So our annualized net cash flow is $9.05, and our total cash invested is $33. So this is where I'm going to look at cash on cash return. We've got our down payment and closing costs for $23,540, and we're going to have an estimated $10,000 in repair costs. I think we might be able to get it done to less than that, but this is going to give us a good idea, give us a good buffer window for doing repairs. So that means we got $33,540 out of pocket to get this deal done, and our annual cash flow is only $9.05 at that $950 rent. So divide that by the total cash invested. We've only got a cash on cash return of 0.03. So this property at the listing price is a no deal. You're not making any money. It's going to cost you money if you can't get it rented out for $950. And more than likely, you're going to have a maintenance bill of more than the $95 a month that you're reserving. So this is a bad investment at $92.7. But as investors, I don't want you just to walk away from deals if they don't work at listing price. Like especially this property that's been on the market for 90 days. If you come to them with a good, clean, quick close offer, who knows what their motivation for selling this property is, and you might be able to get a good deal on it. So let's just say we were able to purchase this at $80,000. Let's make our $80,000 offer, and they accept it. Now let's see what those numbers look like. So nothing's going to change as far as the net operating income because we're not changing the rent amount. The sales price, this is what's going to change. Our monthly mortgage is only going to be $447. So that brings our monthly net income, cash flow, to $71.19, which isn't terrible. I kind of like to stick around the $100 a month cash flow. Again, we are saving back 20% for maintenance and vacancy, so you've got that there. But $71 doesn't really meet our $100 a month requirement. But that is a 4% ROI. Whenever we're looking at monthly income, ROI, cash on cash return, these are all going to be very specified to what your investing goals are. You've got to sit down, figure out what you want to, why you're investing. Is it for the cash flow that you're going to get monthly? Is it for the long-term ROI? You've got to decide that for yourself. But this one at $80,000, it's only a 4% ROI. The stock market does 7%, so it's probably not a great investment. And then our cash on cash return is only 2.78 because it's only making us $861 a month. So not great. Still a no deal. Let's see how far we have to go to make this thing a deal. Let's just jump down to $70,000. So $70,000 is doing pretty good. We've got monthly net cash flow at $127. We've got an 8% ROI, so we're a little bit better than the stock market there. And then the cash on cash return is still 5.29, and that's because you're putting 20% down. Let's cut this rehab bill in half. Let's say it only cost us $5,000. Now we're at 6.39. Generally, on a solid long-term, low-risk investment such as this, I like to shoot for about 8% on my cash-on-cash return. A lot of the stuff I buy that I'm pushing value add into, I'm looking for closer to 12 to 15%. But something like this, 8% would be good. 6% isn't great. So I'd still say this is a no deal at $70,000. If you had, let's see, if we were to put 30% down, that's going to go the wrong way. If we put 5% down, no, can't make it happen. As far as the cash on cash return goes, there's just too much money out of pocket, not enough return. Let's make an offer at $60,000. Now we're at 10% cash on cash return, almost $200 cash flow, $183 a month, and then you've got a 12% ROI. So that right there is what lowballing a listing looks like, and that's why investors lowball listings. It's because they've got to make the numbers work for what their goals are in their investing world. So if you make this offer to this seller and they decline it, no hard feelings to the seller at all. Just know that you've got a property out there for sale that's been sitting there on the market for 90 plus days, and somebody may be looking to give you a solution. That solution may be $30,000 less than what you thought it was going to be. but it is a solution. And without knowing the seller's motivation, I wouldn't hesitate to write this offer, because you don't know what kind of situation they're in. They could be needing to sell the property, and $60,000 is just enough to make that happen. So I hope this was helpful for you. We're going to do some more videos like this, analyzing rental property. Tell me what you like about it. Give me your goals. What do you like to shoot for in cash on cash return, ROI, monthly cash flow? What do you save back for maintenance and vacancy? And I've got some more videos coming up. We've got that property out there on Oak Court that we've just got rented out. The tenants are moving in on February 1st. So once they're in there and everything's settled down on that, I'll get a video out and we'll kind of talk about the numbers on that one. That's all I got for you today. Thanks, guys. Bye.